gave them the money. And when they were asking for the money, they promised you that at the end of the month, at the end of the week, by next Thursday, they will give you the money. And the examples are as many as we can count flies. They didn't give you the money because sometimes they did not intend to pay you back the money. And you lost your 4,000. And had you just lost your 4,000 without any attitude from the borrower, then maybe you would have been fine. But most people take on an attitude. Some become haughty, proud, obnoxious. They fight back. You know, they even try to defame you, the lender, and try to make them, the borrower, good. And so anyway, after a long, drawn-out battle, maybe you just forget the money, or maybe you got the money eventually. If you're lucky, you got it in bulk. If you're unlucky, you did get it, but you got it, like one man says, fish money wise. You got it $40 here, 35 here, 72 here, one bounce check there, but eventually after 8, 9 months, 2 years, you got your money. Few weeks later, somebody comes to you with a story that they need money. Their mother has died. Their father is in the mortuary. Their child's school fees. Chances are you will not lend them money, whether they cry tears, blood, or anything. You won't give them the money. Why? Because your behavior is coming from somewhere. And somebody can come to you and say, but you must learn to be good, you must be generous, you don't know tomorrow, you must give. Those of you who have must help those who don't have. It is how God has done it in life. Sen wursakla, you know how we talk. And nothing, chances are nothing will change you. And I'm not alluding to whether your behavior is right or wrong. I'm just saying that the desire to change human behavior as is a futile and frustrating effort, because all human behavior emanates from something called a mindset. That continual, characteristic, habitual mental attitude that comes from somewhere that informs your behavior, informs your perspective on life, informs your attitude towards people and everything else. Money, friendship, relationships, how you talk, where you go, how you spend on yourself, what you prioritize, and all that. Your mindset dictates your behavior, but your mindset comes from certain precursors, which I would want to look at in this series. So you decide that you're going to do good, but you find that you are not doing good. You even swear that you will change, but you go back and do the same thing. The bad news is that that takes you in a circle and keeps you in a rut. You go nowhere. The good news about it is that you are not alone. Every one of us faces that challenge. The best news is that we can come out of it if we are patient and if we walk the process backwards to get forwards. In other words, have you ever heard this statement that sometimes you must stoop to conquer, or that the best way to advance is to first of all retreat and regroup? So it's almost like an oxymoron. You cannot be advancing, which means going forward, by retreating, which means going backwards. But on a deeper analytical look, sometimes it's best for you to retreat, check your arsenal, check what you have, check what's relevant, valuable, in tune, and then move on. And that time of retreat, reflection, sitting down, counting the cost, gives you enough energy, preparation to launch forth in a way that brings the desired result in your life. So Here we are, there's a goal we have in mind, but then there is a behavior that does not lead to that goal. And no matter how you talk, no matter how we cry, sometimes you might even use the rod if it's a young person, 10, 11, 12, 30, you know, whether or not that is agreed upon, fine. In the Bible it says clearly that if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. That's for children. In other words, what I'm saying, that you can use any form of transition, but if the behavior pattern does not change, you will not get the desired result, because the same methods will always give you the same results. Have you ever had this experience? And I think most people I think everybody has. When you're very tired, and let's say you were sitting at home, sitting on your chair, your couch, your lazy boy, the settee, armchair, and you were reading a book, or you were typing on your computer, your laptop, your iPad, or whatever you use. And if it's a book, you find yourself reading the same line over and over again. Your eyes are closing, you wake up, you shake yourself, you open your eyes, you dilate your pupils, you read the same line, and you doze again, you wake up. You can be doing that for the next 1 hour. The best thing to do there, most of us will tell you, is put that book down and go to bed, especially if it's a time for you to sleep. Except if you are just tired after some heavy fufu and soup or something, then you can exercise and stretch yourself. But if not, go to bed. Similarly with typing, you might find yourself reading from what you're typing. You want to type the boy, T-H-E, but your fingers are touching A-S-D, but your brain is saying T-H-E, and you keep erasing, deleting, backspacing, but you find that what your brain is telling you and what your fingers are punching are not the same. And much as you delete, when you want to type, you type the wrong thing. It's the same thing. Sometimes you just have to shut down and change, because once the behavior has locked into a mode, the same method will give you the same results. So we're going backwards here, if you follow with me. There's a desired goal, there's a beautiful thing we want to accomplish, whether it's an infrastructural improvement, whether it's a very highly mobile, galvanized, efficient workforce, whether it's a power team, whether it's great synergy, whether it's a new protocol on customer care. Certainly it's going to call for a transition, a shift, a paradigm in behavior. But it's not just the behavior. It is what causes the behavior, which is the mindset. And that mindset comes from somewhere. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to read 3 scriptures. I may not finish them all tonight, but they will be the bedrock of what we do. The first one is in the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament of the Bible. And I'm going to take a statement out of a verse, and that statement really stands on its own. So much as I'm going to pull it out of a verse, I think it's a statement that stands on its own power, on its own right, and we have to believe it. There's a statement that goes like this: do not eat the bread of a miser, nor desire his or her delicacies. This is Proverbs chapter 23, verse 6. I am now about to read verse 7, which links on to verse 6, but it's the statement I want to pull out for the purposes of our discussion. It says, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. For those of us who are preachers, maybe you have heard me say this, it's paraphrased. For as a person thinks in their heart, that is who they are. I repeat, for as a person thinks in their heart, that is who they are. So their behavior, their smiles, their frown, their generosity, their suspicion, their rowdiness, their disorganization, their effectiveness, their studiousness, their gratitude, anything that shows forth from them comes from how they have thought about who they